X-Men. Get it!
Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Battle of the Atom. This is your weekly X-Men podcast where we rank every story from A to Z.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Zach, and Adam.
Hey, ready to go back to the age of disco? And this isn't a Dazzler episode.
We already did Double Dazzler.
Yeah.
We already did Double Dazzler. We're not doing any Dazzler right now. This is a Zero Dazzler episode. But it was an episode that was explicitly pitched to us as, hey, what are some stories from the 70s that you guys just haven't done yet?
Yeah, I'm really glad that we're doing this because, we've kind of walked around some of these stories and got some great stuff for you guys today.
We really do, and we have that great stuff thanks to Patreon supporter Robert. Now, Robert went on over to patreon.com/comicsxf. That's Comics X-Ray Foxtrot, or Xavier Files, or anything else that XF could stand for. And tossed a couple of dollars into our coffers. Now that goes right into the pockets of our incredible writers over on Comics XF, who are doing some of the best independent comics criticism and journalism and news and jokes that you have ever seen. It's so good. I'm so proud of that group. If you've been watching The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we have been doing very good discussions about that. I guess that series is wrapped up. We don't know what has happened as we're recording this, but hopefully not enough to make it awkward that we're talking about this show on a Monday. I bet it'll be fine. It's a sanitized Marvel property. It'll be exactly what you expect.
Looking forward to it.
It'll be... I've been reading the Mark Gruenwald Captain America run.
Okay.
While this has been coming out.
Yeah.
And I feel like this show has so much in spirit with the Mark Gruenwald Captain America run, in that, one, it's very adapted from it, with some characters changed around, and two, I don't know if it's good.
The show or the book?
Both.
Oh, okay. Well, it's definitely been a mixed bag, but what's not a mixed bag, Zach, is the amazing first story we're going to talk about here on the show.
Are you talking about the original Phoenix Saga from Uncanny X-Men 105, 107, 108, written by Chris Claremont, with art on the first two by Dave Cockrum, and with John Byrne on the last one, his first issue on the series?
I sure am, and we've obviously put Dark Phoenix Saga towards the top of our gigantic list, but it kind of escaped me that we had not touched upon the arc of issues that takes place almost immediately after Jean transforms. And these are just a delight.
Yeah, so this is a story where... Well, it's okay, so it does start incredibly wildly.
Oh, yeah. Like Silver Age wildly.
Like, to the point where I thought, no, we had to have skipped an issue. Because X-Men 104 is the first time the giant-sized team fights Magneto. It goes pretty poorly, actually. They all do bad. Mm-hmm. They do really bad. Half their team's made of metal. Magneto's got a Pokemon type advantage there. And I knew that was the story, and I thought, okay, that's fine. We start this Phoenix one, and we gotta go to Jean Grey's apartment, we gotta fight Firestar. Turns out, they immediately get attacked by Eric the Red, page 1, panel 1. I had forgotten that happened.
Oh, yeah, because Eric the Red is sort of like mind-controlled Havoc and Polaris for a bit, and now has convinced Firelord that... this Herald of Galactus needs to go and destroy the X-Men. And what better way
to be fair, from from Devin Shikari's point of view, absolutely correct. The Phoenix does eat a planet in the Shi'ar Empire.
Sure. We'll
I'm just saying,
get
Eric the
there.
Red, history has proven him correct on this decision.
Yeah, at this point in mutant history or in galactic history, he's a little bit early. But what's great about this is, first of all, we get introduced to a major character in this episode of Battle of the Atom, which is Jean Grey and Misty Knight's apartment, where she's just trying to have a nice, relaxing, sort of apartment warming
Where's her
dinner party.
Their apartment's in Greenwich, right?
I believe so, yes. And we've got the Grey parents are there. Charles is there.
Yeah.
Misty is there.
Misty Knight, we all know Misty Knight, right?
Yeah.
With the robot arm?
Yeah. Yep. Bionic
She dates
arm,
Iron Fist?
ready to kick some butt.
She's a daughter of the dragon? Man, we don't talk about the fact that Misty Knight and Jean Grey were roommates for a while, and Colleen Wing and Cyclops almost dated.
Yeah, that's weird. Colleen Wing is in this arc too, isn't it? Wait. Because isn't there somebody traveling? Oh, no, that's in another issue. Sorry.
Yeah, Colleen's
I'm getting
not
ahead
in
of
this
ourselves.
issue. Because remember, Colleen and Misty meet up with the X-Men when they are in Tokyo.
Yes.
The first time.
All right, so we'll get back to that.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, that'll happen later. But this is just nonstop action from the Get Out. So we're blowing up the apartment. Phoenix is like trashing Firelord, and then we immediately get transported into deep space, and we're suddenly confronted with the Starjammers, with the Imperial Guard, with the Macron crystal. Like, this thing is like, the gas pedal is all the way down here.
The Mad Emperor Ken is there. Eric the Red is there. It's a lot. And 107, I think, is an incredibly good issue for Dave Cockrum to go out on. And there's a couple of things that I like about it that are, how do you say, that are like spiritually exciting for this to be Cockrum's last hurrah. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing is the fact that he gets to introduce the Imperial Guard. Now, as people who know their X history may know, a lot of the giant-size X-Men came from a pitch that Cockrum had for a pitch that Cockrum had for DC's Legion of Superheroes. Mm-hmm. Nightcrawler was going to be a character on a different, I think they were going to be called the Outsiders. I forget what it was. Storm was a couple of different characters from there. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the Colossus design gets directly reused for one of the Imperial Guardsmen. And the Imperial Guard themselves are XPs of the Legion of Superheroes. Gladiator is Superboy. Mm-hmm. I don't know the rest of the Legion of Superheroes. Timberwolf is Fang. I know
but
that.
You can do a side-by-side on these. And
people have since the 70s.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not a DC guy, so this is not my forte. But
Mentor is Brainiac 5. I know that.
But it is a really fun kind of reversal, if you know your X history about where the giant-sized team came from and Cockrum's ingenuity in putting this team together. So, we've got this great smash 'em up, and it's not just the Imperial Guard. When the Starjammers come crashing in, oh my God, like, just the cast just grows exponentially immediately, and it's so much fun.
The thing about this comic is that it has absolutely no chill. This is late 70s Marvel, so we're talking 18-page stories, 17-page stories. That's what they've got. This is coming out bi-monthly at the time. So we skipped 106 here. It's a weird flashback thing that Bill Mantlo later like revisits.
Angel story.
No, well, kind of, but it also involves the entity, the evil part of Charles Xavier from the Micronaut story.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so we skipped that one because, frankly, I didn't want to reread it. It doesn't have anything to do with the rest of this. It's just the story that Professor X tells Firelord while they're hanging out in Jean Grey's apartment, waiting for them to get back.
crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. This story just keeps going and going and going as fast as it can until the universe is about to end and the Phoenix, like, saves the entire universe in a really cool and powerful way. Like, this is a story that's 100% designed to say Jean Grey, who was once the weakest X-Man, is now so much stronger than any of the X-Men. And not only is she stronger than any of the X-Men, do you know why she fights Firelord?
Why she fights Firelord?
Specifically, why Firelord is the character that she fights.
I don't remember.
So, Claremont and Cockrum wanted, like, the big proving point to be Jean Grey is, at this point, Phoenix is stronger than Thor. Like, Phoenix is stronger than, I guess, her son. But...
Jesus Christ, Zach.
I didn't do it. Jason Aaron did.
I know.
I
but
didn't
you may want to put a little asterisk and explain that because people may not understand what you're talking about.
In the most recent, very bad run of Avengers, we have found out...
Deep breath.
We have found out that Thor's mom is not Freya and it's not Gaia. It is actually the Phoenix Force. The Phoenix Force who got busy with Odin back in 1 million BC.
I don't like it. I don't like that at all.
It's bad. Also now Echo from Daredevil is Phoenix, which I got nothing against Echo. I like her. I think that's a weird choice, Jason Aaron, but beyond the point. So let's jump back one diversion back. This is like Inception. We got to wake up into one dream, and we're still in a dream. So in this dream, they wanted Phoenix to beat Thor.
Yes.
And their editors, who Archie Goodwin was the editor-in-chief, and editor at the time said, no, she's not going to fight Thor. She's not going to beat Thor. Thor's Thor. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, if I look at my Marvel handbook, who's beaten Thor? Firelord has beaten Thor. So by the transitive property, Jean Grey can beat Thor. That's a real thing that these nerds in the 70s did.
That's great. Yeah, I'd never heard that story. But it makes a lot of sense to throw a Herald of Galactus at her and to say, okay, this isn't just a mutant thing anymore. This is a cosmic thing now. You know?
Yeah, it rules.
It ups the ante so much. You know, when we have the protectors of the, like we get to meet Jaff. And I forget who the second one is. The guardians of the Macron crystal.
The one that's like, I am 1,000 times stronger than Jaff.
Right. You know, and not only
Mott.
that, but
his name's Mott.
Yeah, when we get to the conclusion of the story, like you said, it's basically like the Phoenix rewriting existence from inside the crystal. And you know the stakes are high because we're getting these Avengers cameos, we're getting the Fantastic Four cameo, all the stuff you normally get when, like, you know it's world-ending business that starts crossing over into the 616. So I just think, like, the power level here of and the cast expanding like it is, it's just so much fun. And you're right, these are 18 pagers, so you know we're doing this over a very kind of short page count, but it doesn't feel that way. Like, it just feels exciting and just like so much fun.
And Cockrum's art,
it's outstanding.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
I'd even say that, like, Burns doesn't get as tight as Cockrum does here, but you know, it's so good. There were people I've seen fanzines and stuff from the 70s when it was announced that Cockrum was leaving X-Men. People were losing it. They were freaking out because Cockrum was such a big draw to that book.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't like John Byrne as a human. I tend to like his X-Men stuff in the 80s, even though I think he might be one of the weaker artists on the line as a whole from Claremont's run, but that's a tough comparison. He just did the good ones. It's beautiful, though.
Yeah, I think it just holds together, and it's just such a foundational piece of classic X-Men. Like, if you're just getting into X-Men and you're picking it up, this is like, I mean, obviously we've already had some really exciting stuff happen in the book since Giant Size, but I feel like this just expands the world so much.
Oh, this is so Giant Size. It gets weird because you get the Count Nefaria story, which is kind of bad.
Right.
Like it's not the greatest that X-Men would ever be. Then you get the Eric the Red stuff, which again, But then you get the Sentinels arc, and that's pretty good. But then you get the Leprechauns, and then you get Magneto, which is fine. And then you get this, and this is really when it starts to go full throttle.
Absolutely.
Like, this is when I don't want to say it's because Cockrum left, because Cockrum was doing some fantastic stuff. But the book starts to transition not too long after this into a monthly title by, I think, 112. 112, it becomes a monthly title. So it's almost there. That helps accelerate things a heck of a lot. You've got Claremont knowing what kind of stories he wants to tell, because he's figured it out. He wants to do big epics on a grand scale. Like, he knows what this book is at that point, and then it really clicks. And this is the first sign of that clicking, because even like the arc where the Sentinels go up to space.
Yeah.
To me, that has a lot of elements that work, and the Jean Grey thing at the end is fantastic. Mm-hmm. But as an arc, it's not there yet. Yeah. And this, I think, they get it. They get it in this one.
Yeah, it's clicking on every level, and we should rank this. I think this might do pretty well on our big list, which...
You're talking about our big list of 495 X-Men stories. We are on the road to 500. We are almost at the end of the road. I can see it over yonder hillside.
We're close.
We're so close, Adam. The number one story on our list is The House of X Powers of 10. The number 100 story on our list is New Mutants, The Fall and Rise of the New Mutants. The number 200 story on our list is Phoenix Resurrection, The Return of Jean Grey. Number 300 on our list is Into the Void from Uncanny X-Men. That's the one where they go and get Mikhail Rasputin in the Void. Mechanics is at 400, and at the bottom of our list is El Draco.
Oh, El Draco.
El Draco! Ay, caramba! Boom, boom, bam, boom, boom, bam. I'm not. We are a family-friendly podcast. I cannot sing the immediate next words of that parody.
All right, we'll leave that alone. I think this is a top 50 story, Zach. What do you think?
Number 50 is X Club.
It is.
Adam.
Yes.
Adam.
Yes.
I read a comic today. Today's the day Way of X came out. I read a comic today where Dr. Nemesis reveals that he has replaced his hair with hallucinogenic mushrooms so that he can constantly be high in doing science. And that's written by the same guy who wrote X Club. X Club's you're going right for my soul here.
Zach, come on. Like, this, what we're talking about right now with these 3 issues is literally foundational to what is, like, exciting and fun about the X-Men.
X Club also has Dr. Nemesis with a thing on his head, though.
I understand that, and you know I love X Club, but as I'm looking around at you know what's in the top 50, I think we're definitely in the right realm. This is like classic stuff.
It is classic stuff. Here's where I'm at. 2 above this is the Uncanny X-Men and the New Teen Titans, which I think is better.
Really?
Yeah, but it's got that good Walt Simonson art. Walt Simonson draws Galactus? Or not Galactus. What's the Darkseid?
Darkseid. Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
Look.
Darkseid summons the Phoenix.
That is an amazing issue. It is an absolutely gorgeous thing, but it is like its own company crossover thing. Like, this is, I think for many people, like, this is what X-Men is. And like, this is Claremont saying, this is how the book is going to be. We're going to go for these giant sci-fi elements, and, you know, we're going to go to outer space, and it's going to be a little more Star Trek-y than you ever thought it would be. We're gonna like set the little tee up here so we can get to Dark Phoenix Saga. So I don't know. I think I might have a higher opinion of this than you do.
You do. I can tell you, you do for sure.
Okay.
Okay, so just number 41 is Inferno New Mutants. Inferno New Mutants is better.
I would agree. The culmination of the Ileana saga is definitely like it packs more emotional weight. So I'm good with that.
I feel like Cable Past Fears by Zach Thompson, Lonnie Nadler, and Ermin Peralta also packs more weight, but that may be because every day I stare at the page of Cable and Hope having a hug. So I'm biased there, but I think that one is, on my merits, better, and I think right below that, All New X-Men 1 through 5 is better. Here's where I'll say.
I'm being quiet because I
know. I know you are.
Okay, go ahead. Give me your case here.
Let me pitch.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know. I never talk on this podcast, so everyone wants to hear
never
me.
heard your voice ever.
I would say this is better than number 45, which is Chamber 1 through 4 by Brian K. Vaughan and an artist who I forget.
Yep.
And I could see it being better than number 44, X-Men Legacy, the end of that for We Are Many, another good Cy Spurrier comic, which there are like 3 of right here, because Legacy 300's just below this. I would probably hold my line at yesterday's X-Men. That's got that Stuart Immonen art. That's got that double page spread where Jean Grey learns her entire history.
Listen, I think if I was just going with my gut, we might be even much higher here. But in the spirit of compromise that is this show, I do love some Stuart Immonen. I do love that Cable arc. So this is going to be...
Wait.
What?
Oh, no.
What?
Number 30 on our list is the story where the Sentinels come back. This is better than that.
I see.
Crap. Why did we make this list, Adam? We did a bad job.
Zach, we're kicking ourselves in the butt. I'm telling you, I'm not crazy. I know that this particular story is like an outstanding, fun thing. Like, I wasn't just babbling about it.
You weren't.
And the Sentinel story is just as like foundational and fun, but this is more fun.
This isn't as good as Life Death 2, right above it.
No,
it's not. It's not. It goes right there. It's number 30.
So this is going to be our new 30.
Zach and Lonnie, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I don't think you'll be upset.
You don't need to apologize to Zach and Lonnie.
If they're listening, I do.
Zach and Lonnie are sitting there going, "You are right, Adam. We are not as good as Claremont and Dave Cockrum introducing the Imperial Guard and the Starjammers and the Macron crystals and Jaff."
One, Jaff doesn't count. 2, I once wrote a comic where Jaff does something that I forget, but it involved like the Mountain Dew Gamer Fuel Halo 3 Legendary Edition : finish this fight. And Adam X the Extreme was there. I don't remember that comic. It's not very good.
I do. I remember it, and we should dig it up and put it on the internet when this episode comes out.
Oh, it's somewhere already. What I was going to say, Adam, is that Zach and Lonnie did 2 stories as backups, or one was a primary story, one is a backup in comics that Chris Claremont also wrote in, and their comics were way better than Claremont's.
Dude, you're talking about X-Men Black.
And X-Men The Exterminated.
Okay. All right.
Everyone remembers that Stone Cold classic, right?
Oh my God. We're okay. It's like talking about 2 different writers. You're talking about classic Claremont and 21st century. Okay. Anyway,
I'm just harassing you at this
I
point.
just love how this worked out for me personally, because I was just going to say like put it in the 40s, and now you were like, "Hey, let's
past me." Listen, in this, I said it's better than that Sentinel story. Then I saw that Sentinel story. I was like, beans. I played myself. This list is bad. No one should listen to it. It's like directionally right, but anything specific, we're like,
Yeah, once it gets granular, man, there's definitely some scrambling we need to do here. All
Listen,
right.
I saw X-Men Grand Design up there, and that's way too high.
Yeah, we gotta. We will adjust. We will make adjustments at a
We
certain
should
point.
we should do a trial run and see if we should judge our tastes, Adam.
Yes,
Maybe in the future.
maybe. I think that's a
Maybe.
good idea. I am so excited to talk about this next story.
Yeah, you didn't know this existed, did you?
I feel so dumb. Can I talk about why I feel dumb about this just for a
I would
second?
love to hear why you feel dumb, Adam.
Okay, so the story we're about to talk about is Iron Fist 15. And the reason I just feel like a complete moron for not knowing this existed is because for many, many conversations that we have had on this show about Wolverine pining for Jean, I have on the regular said, I really don't think that the context is there in Uncanny X-Men. I've said this repeatedly.
Because in Uncanny, it's like the scene in 101 where everyone is sad about Jean and he buys her flowers and throws it away, and that's
Right.
more or less it.
Right. So I'm familiar with the on-panel stuff that we see in Uncanny. I'm familiar with, of course, the classic X-Men backup stories, which try and fill that in. But we have this opening scene. This is Claremont and John Byrne.
With Dan Green on inks. That's what I was thinking earlier.
Green, yes. Frequent inker of JRJR. And he is literally like stalking Jean Grey's apartment, holding a photo like it's straight out of the animated series. He has a Cyclops and Jean Grey photo in his hand, and he's lamenting how Cyclops is the wrong guy for her, and he rips the photo in half. I can't
Wolverine's a
believe
wuss in
that I
this
didn't
one.
know this. I feel so dumb, and I'm so happy to talk about this. So take it from here.
It's Claremont, Byrne, Dan Green, Iron Fist from 1977. This story takes place directly after the Phoenix Saga. It takes place directly after Sabretooth's first appearance in the issue before, number 14. And it's interesting. This is Claremont and Byrne did a 15-issue run on Iron Fist that I've never read because I'm just not a big Iron Fist guy. I loved the Immortal Iron Fist run that Brubaker and Fraction and Aha did. But I've just not read a ton of Iron Fist since. I think he's fine.
Sure.
This issue ends, and the series ends like this. Okay, I say this. This issue starts with Davos the Steel Serpent taking the heart of the dragon from Danny Rand, taking his Iron Fist powers.
Yeah.
And then Danny Rand's like, oh man, I better go see what my friend and girlfriend Misty Knight's up to. I feel depressed. Same time, Wolverine is like stalking Jean's apartment and is like, oh no, someone's in there. I better go get somebody.
That's a good impression. I like that.
I know. I'm a very good Wolverine.
Yeah, because Misty's not there.
Misty's not there. She's out on the town. She's a lady.
She is her own superhero. She does her own thing. She is not beholden to Danny Rand. But of course, Logan is also wearing he's wearing the Imperial Guard outfit of Fang.
Yeah. This is the one appearance of Wolverine ever wearing that Fang costume. Because do you know? Okay, I got another X-Men trivia. Do you know the story about the Fang costume?
No. Wait, maybe I do. Tell me and I'll tell you if I remember this.
Dave Cockrum knew he was leaving the book, and he was like, I'm just going to make the next artist Sliveheart. I'm going to change Wolverine's
get
costume
out.
to something that's a pain to draw with all the little bones.
It really is. It's stupid.
And Byrne lasted the one issue that he had to, and then one issue of Iron Fist, and he said, screw this.
Yeah.
We're going to this other costume. We're
Yeah.
not doing this.
Now, so there's a misunderstanding here. You know, Logan thinks there's an intruder in his mind, his girlfriend's house. So that's its own misunderstanding, and they fight. But what's great is that in the grand tradition of the X-Men don't travel alone. So we get Kurt here, we get Colossus showing up, and in probably my second favorite moment from this, Storm shows up and gets hit in the face with a bowl of potato salad for some reason.
Storm gets some of Jean Grey's bland-ass potato salad in her face, and that's enough for Storm, Aurora Monroe, to say, yeah, we're going to bring the thunder right now.
Yes. Here's a hurricane for you. This is gross.
She flips, and rightfully so, because Jean Grey's bad at making potato salad. It's very bland.
And also, she left it out. I mean, this is
left out
disgusting. You can't leave.
Come on, there's mayo in that.
Yeah. Ugh. It's also such like the other reason I found that so delightful is because, you know, I think for a lot of people who grew up in the 90s, there's that great scene of Rogue taking the boysenberry pie in the face in, what is it, X-Men 8? When Gambit and Bishop are fighting, and it's like exactly the same. You know, like this thing just comes flying in off panel and smashes her in the face.
Absolutely. This is a weird slapstick comic.
Yes.
It's the dumbest way for Iron Fist number 15, the last issue of Iron Fist, to go.
Yeah. Wait. We also need to talk about like the third most amazing thing in this, which is a panel which I just posted on Twitter randomly, and like I feel like thousands of people liked it because they'd never seen it before. But when Jean does show up after going out with Cyclops, she comes in as the Phoenix, and she does her whole like, I am the Phoenix routine. And she's like, this is my apartment.
There's a big Troy coming back to the apartment from Community remedial chaos theory energy to this. Because Scott's sitting there like, what are you doing? And Jean's in full Phoenix mode, and everything's on fire and bad, and there was a literal hurricane, and there was a fastball special in their Greenwich Village apartment.
Yep.
When Jean Grey said, y'all, we're having a house party, I went out to get some chips.
Oh my God.
What are you doing to my apartment? Anyway, they have a party. Chris Claremont and John Byrne and Dave Cockrum all show up with their significant others.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned they cameoed Chris and Dave cameo in the last arc that we talked about as well.
It's great. It's beautiful because Chris Claremont and John Byrne and Dave Cockrum all looked like they were men in the late 70s with a beard.
Absolutely.
And puffy hair. It was beautiful.
So if you are like, you know, if you're a dum-dum like me and you have not read this, I mean, you absolutely have to track it down. It is so much fun.
Yeah, it's good. Go check. It's on that app. Go check it out. The Iron Fist content, whatever.
I mean, it's fine. It's a very strange thing to happen in the last issue of Volume 1 of a series.
It gets followed up in the Davos and the Steel Serpent, or Davos the Steel Serpent stuff gets followed up in Marvel Team Up that Claremont and Byrne were also doing. Mm-hmm. I don't know how John Byrne was doing so many books at the same time.
I don't know.
I mean, good for him, I guess. And then Iron Fist becomes Power Man in Iron Fist, a series that lasted for a while longer.
Yes, absolutely. All right, we should rank this puppy. This is a good time, and I think this is probably a maybe top 100 story. What do you think?
I think it's pretty good. Like, okay, I'm gonna say as a actual story.
Oh, it's it's slight, but
like it's not better. It's not better than Multiple Man from Rosenberg and Andy McDonald, who's doing incredible work on I Breathe the Body at number 60. I don't think it's that good. Is this better than What If Wolverine Was Lord of the Vampires, which has a very similar manic energy?
Oh man, I think it is.
It is, right?
Yeah, it's
not as weird of a concept, which is pretty much all What If Wolverine Was Lord of the Vampires has going for it.
Yeah, I think that this like really taps into these characters in a very fun way. Like you said, it's slapstick, and you don't get that opportunity to stretch that, muscle in regular X-Men that often. So it feels like they're cutting loose in a really great way.
I think I would rather read this again than like X Factor Volume 2.
Yeah, I think so too. It's probably not as good as Fantastic Four versus X-Men.
That's probably the ceiling. And right between those is the Morlock series, which is a series I kind of like, but also screw Jeff Johns, right?
Hey, I'm a fan of those characters. I like that series.
I like that 4-issue series in general.
Yes. It's always interesting how people's real life horrible activities influence how we think about these things. But I would think this is our new 65. What do you think?
I think this is right above Morlocks is our new 65. Iron Fist 15. Enter the X-Men.
Go check that out. It's fun.
Man, we've been making Enter the Dragon puns forever, haven't we?
Well, when it's people's only touchstone.
I've got to hope that Claremont had to have watched more kung fu movies than just Enter the Dragon to write the Immortal Iron Fist, right?
I would hope so.
I feel like he was a nerd in the 70s. I bet he watched some kung fu.
I mean, you just don't know. I mean, Danny Rand is a white guy, so take that for what it's worth.
He was a nerd in the 70s. We can't promise everything's going to be great.
That is true. Okay, so we're going to go a little bit forward in time, but not too much for this last
1979 is where we're going.
So what's the last thing we're talking about here?
Well, we're going to go everywhere, including up to Canada, where Wolverine is wanted, dead or alive.
It's Uncanny X-Men 120 and 121. And, we've already had a run-in with at least the
Guardian.
leader of Alpha Flight.
Or Vindicator.
Vindicator,
Wait,
right?
Is his name Vindicator or Guardian at the time? He has a lot of different names.
I believe he's calling himself Vindicator in this part.
In this one? Okay.
I think so. He's really figuring it out. But
I don't understand Alpha Flight. It's fine.
He didn't do so well the last time he tried this, and but now with the X-Men coming back they're coming back from Japan, right? This is after the Moses Magnus stuff.
Yeah, this is after their second fight with Magneto, and they have to go to the Savage Land, and then they have to get back to the Savage Land, and it takes them about a year.
Yeah. I was just thinking about this. There's this like long period of X-Men that the big tradition of it is just they're constantly traveling. They're always going somewhere. It's like they never just sit still. And
they're on some sort of cross-time caper.
Yes, they really are. And here they get their plane taken down in our friend to the north, and Alpha Flight makes their debut in kicking the crap out of the X-Men, basically.
Yeah, they have to try and capture the X-Men. Colleen Wing's there too, because she was with them in. Man, Misty Knight's in all of these stories. Wow.
Yeah.
And Misty Knight were there. Yeah. X-Men, be better friends with Misty Knight. I bet she'd be fun to party with on your mutant island.
Absolutely.
But no, Alpha Flight comes trying to get Wolverine, and they eventually just stop. The fight ends.
Well, they do realize that, what's great about this is that they don't really fight Alpha Flight to start with. They basically just hide. So Storm creates this all happens on an airport tarmac, and Alpha Flight is, trying to take Wolverine. Storm whips up a blizzard, and they go basically hide out in a bunch of different downtown places. And there's some mall action here.
This did have the pilot of the 90s cartoon energy.
It does. Banshee is with Storm, and Storm is, I guess, trying to dress differently. Which not she's not doing a very good job of it. She still looks exactly like Storm. She still looks exactly fabulous.
She's 6 foot tall, and she's jet black, and she has striking white straight hair.
Right.
She's gonna stand out.
Right. They're not trying to put her in a hoodie or something like that. But we get this attack in the mall, and it's like, oh geez, we really got to change location here for this fight. So where is it that they end up? It's like kind of a rodeo, or what is this location that they end up having this standoff in?
It is called...
It's a real place.
Shootout at the Stampede. It is, the Calgary Stampede, which has to be a real place. Yeah, there's a Wikipedia page for it. What is it? I don't know.
I think... hold on.
I bet Claremont went there on vacation once and thought it was fun. It's a rodeo.
Yeah, the greatest outdoor show on earth. That's how they advertise.
They go to a fairground. They go to a fairground. They go to the fairground and fight, because that's what it looks like.
Yeah, it's enough open space for them to just, like, actually go at it. And, Alpha Flight kind of holds their own. And Wolverine is like, you know what? This is dumb. I don't really want my friends to get hurt. And, I don't want these Alpha Flight goons to get, like, busted up either. So I'm just going to go with them. And he basically surrenders himself. And... yet, as the X-Men are about to take off, Wolverine is in the cabin, and
like,
he has escaped again, which is just a great
I immediately broke my handcuffs.
So luckily Alpha Flight does not immediately, come back and try and take Wolverine again.
James Hudson's like,
dang it.
We're fine.
What am I supposed to do with this guy?
Adam, how do you feel about Alpha Flight in general?
I think Alpha Flight is interesting to a point. In the past I've talked highly about X-Men and Alpha Flight. I like that Paul Smith crossover. But, I still have yet to go back and actually read the series. And I think, just my dislike of Byrne in general as a human is kind of like, why do I want to go back and read all of that? I mean, I assume there's some
X-Men. It's like 140 issues, and the best stuff is by John Byrne, and I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
It's something that I'm probably going to read at one point. Am I excited to do it right now? No.
I don't like North Star enough to make that commitment yet.
Yeah, but I do. I do like the cast. I think they're really cool characters. I like that it's
in this one for the cast we have Vindicator, we have North Star, Jean-Paul Babadier, who we like. We've talked about North Star in this show. North Star's great, star of Leah Williams and David Baudion's X Factor, which rules. Michael Tu Youngman, the Shaman, Snowbird, who I don't care for. I don't care about Snowbird. I think
fine.
She's some sort of something or other connected to the great old gods of Canada. I don't know. Sasquatch, who, again, no strong feelings for, but is in the very good...
Immortal Hulk.
Very good Immortal Hulk. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
And I like Walter there. And then Aurora is definitely North Star's sister.
Yeah. Sometimes gets a character personality and sometimes doesn't.
Sometimes gets too many personalities at the same time.
Yeah, I like the lineup of Alpha Flight in general. I think the idea behind it, of it being sort of a mix of mutants and magic, is kind of an interesting concept. But, I'm fine with them just sort of like occasionally popping up to confront the X-Men. I don't know if I need to read their solo adventures.
I really don't need to read their solo adventures, especially on a team like this that doesn't even have Puck.
No Puck yet.
Puck's the good one.
Yeah.
I like North Star, but I think of him as an X-Men character now, so it's Puck.
Yeah, absolutely. So, this is still good comics. I think it's fun.
It's good.
I think it's interesting to see these characters pop up for the first time. But I don't think it rises to the heights of what we've been talking about so far. So let's rank this.
Number 88 is X-Men Alpha Flight. We talked about that. It's not as good. No,
not even close.
100 right now is Mojo Mayhem. It's not that good.
No, it's not.
I'm scrolling down.
The stuff around Uncanny X-Men 275 is at 150. What do you think? Better or worse?
I think it's better than that, but worse than the Leprechauns of Cassidy Keep at 138.
Okay, so we're in between these two.
It's almost exactly as good as the Leprechauns of Cassidy Keep, actually.
Yeah, it's got kind of a goofy quality to it, you know, especially with the like downtown scenes that are after the initial assault.
I think I know where I want to put it.
All right, you tell me, because I'm just looking around at what's here.
143 is Kitty's Fairy Tale.
Okay.
Which I think is better.
I would agree.
I do think this is better than the Quest for Nightcrawler at 144 from Amazing X-Men.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot for it. So that would make it our new 144.
This would make it our new 144. It's called Wanted Wolverine, Dead or Alive. This was the best episode in terms of story quality we've done in a while. I know we dragged on some of these stories a bit. They're all pretty good. We hadn't had anything break the top 100 in a spell. We hadn't had anything break the top 200 in a spell.
Well, I mean, if you look at what we've been talking about recently, it's a lot of sort of like interesting
dumb stuff that we were bored and wanted to do finally.
Yeah, but like, you know, a video game tie-in comic is not gonna rise to the ranks of like a Claremont Cockrum joint, right?
I guess.
I really, really enjoyed revisiting these, and like I said, I think Iron Fist 15 was just an absolute delight, and I hope people check that out.
Go check that one out. It's a fun one-off. Like, you don't have to know anything,
Nope.
But if you know exactly where in continuity it takes place, it's very funny.
Absolutely.
Like, to me, to know when all of that's going on, also exactly this by the exact same creative team, love it.
Chef's kiss.
Love it so much. So much. Adam, we're done with this episode, and we got to thank Robert one more time. Robert, again, went on over to patreon.com/comicsxf, threw some money at us, and if you want to be like him, do the same thing. If you can't, tell your friends about us. Mm-hmm. Maybe be like, hey, listen to these guys. They're pretty neat. Or leave a review. Reviews are cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think telling people's probably the best thing. I don't know. I don't know how Apple works.
Yeah, shout out to Comic Book Counseling Podcast. They gave us a shout out recently on their favorite podcasts. So thank you.
Wild choice on their part, but I appreciate it.
So yeah, word of mouth goes a long way.
It super does.
Yeah. What do you want to highlight? Anything from Comics XF going on here, Zach?
There's always stuff. There was a good interview with Cal Starks that I liked doing. That went up. Some really good pieces about all the X-Men comics. Like, there's a Way of X one that's great. Go check that out. I keep screaming about a Saga Yojimbo until everyone reads it. I don't know. It's been almost 40 years. I figure if you haven't heard by now, what am I doing?
Yeah, it's your reason, raison d'etre reason.
I guess.
So
there's a sword thing that was good. Go read that too.
Oh, I loved that issue.
Yeah, swords.
And I love the coverage
Do you ever
of it.
think about how Magneto's best friend Peepers
It's great.
is a going concern, and he was a punchline, and now we love him? I like it.
It only took like
this
2
so
issues,
much.
and it's fantastic the way that's happened.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam, where can people find you online? Because they can find Comics XF at Comics XF on Twitter or comicsxf.com.
That's right. Guys, you can always follow me on Twitter at Arthur Stacy or on Instagram at adam.rec. And Zach, what are we doing next week?
Our road to 500 comes to a close.
We're going to get there. It's going to happen.
But at what cost, Adam? What will we have to lose?
I'm scared.
Or decimate to get there? But until then, this has been Battle of the Atom. We hope you survived the experience.
Get it!